Hello and welcome to Going Grassroots. Today we are here to talk about two kids who wanted to make it big and they made it big. One is from Rosario, Argentina, and one from Madeira, Portugal. And
No, I think big would be an
yeah,
understatement. They made it they made it a lot more than big.
yeah. And as far as global superstars go, there are always few names which pop up for every sports. And because, for example, that in F1, I didn't even know what F1 is, but I knew Michael Schumacher. I didn't even know, tennis that much, but I knew Federer. I knew Djokovic, even Nadal, and we all know Usain Bolt, Tendulkar. So there are these big names, and but these two guys have superseded all of them. I think you wouldn't find a place on earth the, that doesn't know these two, and even footballing fans obviously, but non-footballing fans as well, they know about these two, and we all know about these two since we were kids. And basically they are so huge now that they've almost affected everyone, and everyone has said their name at some point. So let's just introduce them. The Argentinian kid is Lionel Messi, and the Portugal wizard is Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. And so many, yeah. And Vedant, thank you for joining me. And you would remember that as kids we used to fight who's better, if it's Messi, if it's Ronaldo. Yeah,
Used to. I mean, people still do.
yeah,
Everyone does. But yeah, I mean, Ronaldo and Messi is how basically 80% of the current fans got introduced to football, you know. I mean, their influence in the game and on the sport, yeah, on the fans as general is just huge. I mean, you can't compare it. Like, I mean, the earlier era was like the beginning era was dominated by Pele, Best, and Eusebio, and then there came Cruyff,
yeah.
Platini, and Gerd Muller. Yeah, Maradona. And after that, it was Ronaldo, the Brazilian one. It was Zidane and Ronaldinho. I mean, these are we know them as great players of the game, but what these two have done, they are on a different level right now. I mean, we know that we cannot compare these players to the players I just mentioned because obviously they played in a different era and stuff like that. But Messi and Ronaldo have just, overall changed the entire perspective of how fans now look at the game. I mean, earlier the expectation for the players was that, score one goal in two games and then, just maintain that ratio and carry your team to a win and stuff like that would make you a great player. But these two started scoring goals every season, 30, 40, 50 plus goals every season and hat tricks and all of that. This just started doing it for fun, and then maybe that's why people at some point started taking them for granted, and we just and that is why now when we're talking, we are as you mentioned earlier that these kids from Portugal and Argentina made it big, and I said that they have made it a lot bigger than that. But at some point, people of course started taking them at granted, and that's why here we are, because we now know that the end is quite near, and it is now that we have started to realize it.
Yeah, and I was quite emotional because, and this decision was before we read that Cristiano Ronaldo said that the World Cup, the next World Cup would be my last, and it wasn't a surprise that we all
Yeah.
knew that it or some World Cup has to be their last. But that news also just made me emotional because this is a reality check that yeah, this is going to end sometime, and it wasn't 5 years ago. They were still so young, just about 29, 30, and we all knew that they're just going to play for we didn't even realize their age at that they were that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were talking about how they scored 50 goals every season, and that's why even when we and there are lots of good players around them who score goals, But when a striker scores 30 goals, we think that yeah, he's good, but he's about 20 goals behind these two. And
Yes,
that is the thing why maybe few players are unlucky to be born in this age, unlucky to be playing in this era of these two. But maybe they might say that they're lucky to play in this era. But you talk about Luis Suarez and talk about Aguero, who have been so consistent every season for the last 12 years.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, Lewandowski. There were players like Ribery, Robben, who might have been world star, mega world and global stars. But
Yes.
these two just didn't let them. And Neymar came.
Another legend of my club, Wayne Rooney, would have been a
Yeah,
lot more appreciated and
yeah.
talked about if it wasn't for these two.
Yeah, and people actually laugh when you talk about how Rooney is a world class player, but actually he is. If you watch his
Exactly.
games earlier on, and even before, in 2000 till 2014 as well, I think he was so good. But yeah, so yeah, all these players could have been somewhat a bigger name in maybe even
Yeah.
in footballing world. And Neymar came quite close in that because he had that Barcelona break and he played that, and he was someone, the third best player. Like, people were starting to consider him the third best player. But let's move on to this point, that why these two are so great is because of the consistency they gave us, the consistency for the last
Yeah.
15 years. And you know just just ponder upon this point, that to score now, Cristiano Ronaldo have scored about what, 60 or 50 plus goals in the last 6 seasons, and that's incredible. Messi scoring again the same way, 50 plus goals every season.
I mean, yeah, we could talk about their records, and it would not. I mean, it would take us a lot
Yeah,
more than a day
yes,
to list each one out. So we'll leave out that part. We'll just focus
yeah,
on the main
yeah. So
points.
the consistency, and talk about the consistency they've shown us.
As I said, we talked about the earlier players who were considered as great, but then these two came along, and they redefined consistency because I mean to do it for so many years. And I mean, it is sort of like if it wasn't for Ronaldo, if Ronaldo was playing in a different era, maybe Messi could have been different, and it's vice versa because we've talked about this a lot before, but it's just true that these two push each other for to perform better because see earlier winning the Ballon d'Or, the individual award, was like a lifetime achievement
Yeah,
for some players. Like if you
yes,
if you win it once, then it is like yes, my career has been
like like an Oscar.
yeah. Yeah, so but these two have made it their own personal competition because if Messi wins, then Ronaldo has to push himself and win it, and if Ronaldo wins, then Messi has to push himself and win it. So that's the consistency we're talking about here, and yeah, like expect like as I said, the expectations were different earlier, and now these two have set a new benchmark for each and every player that, as you said, we compare these two with each and every player. No matter how good he is, we'll always say, yeah, but he could have done as much as he did, and he'll always fall
Yeah,
short as. But yeah, but that's just the cons of playing in the Ronaldo Messi era. There are a lot of pros, but there are a lot of cons as well.
yeah,
So.
yeah,
I mean, when we talk about Messi and Ronaldo, I think they're like Breaking Bad. I mean, they just get better with
yeah,
each and every season, and even now after they've crossed their age. I mean, Messi is what now? I think is 33, and
yeah,
Ronaldo is 35. But I mean, at this age, after having performed so long for so many years and the number of games they've played, you'd expect them to slow down a bit. I mean,
yeah,
even the great players like Beckham or Iniesta, or they left their clubs and went to some different
yeah, yeah,
normal league where the pressure wasn't as much. But I mean, these two still want to perform and still want to win. That even after winning
yeah,
so much, their hunger is still isn't satisfied. And I'm just I get surprised sometimes at how, I mean, how can someone be so motivated to
Yeah.
do it
Again, all
season
over
after
again.
season, even when you have everything.
Yeah, I mean, Messi has 10 La Liga titles, six, I think six, yeah, six Champions League for Cristiano Ronaldo, and so but they
Yeah,
still keep going on. They that have that hunger, and now let's just let's just go to the beginnings of these, charismatic
yeah,
sort of careers. And first, talking about Lionel Messi, he was a small kid playing for his home club, and I think Charles Reich, his name is. He was from Barcelona's executive team, and he
yeah.
just recognized the talent, recognized the gift which he had, and signed him on a napkin. And that's true. I mean, there are a lot of rumors about
Yes,
Ronaldo's entry to Manchester United, but this is true that he did sign Messi on a napkin because he didn't want to lose him. And Messi moved obviously when he was 13 to Barcelona. And similar to Ronaldo, I mean, there was a rumor where Manchester United came into play, and then they were impressed by Ronaldo. But I think that is a rumor. The thing is that United were
no, no,
already
no, the
invested in Ronaldo. And yeah, I think, yeah, so the story is that United already knew about Ronaldo. They were already interested, and after playing against Manchester United, Alex Ferguson was more impressed, and he was then ready to invest in him, and he knew what he was. But United still wanted to wait for another year and then sign him. But what happened is, in the next few days, there were rumors about AC Milan coming in for him, Real Madrid coming in for him, Inter Milan coming in for him. So Manchester United just didn't want to lose him, and they just signed him because he was such a great talent. So, and again, the debate.
yes, and you
Yeah,
mentioned AC Milan, you mentioned Inter Milan,
yeah,
you forgot Arsenal and
yeah,
Arsene
Arsenal
Wenger, who
almost signed him. Yeah,
uh, I, yeah, I actually read today that Wenger, I think Wenger said this recently that
yeah, yeah,
he had dinner.
with the
He had
family.
dinner. He actually had, yeah, with Ronaldo's mother. So I mean, imagine having dinner with he was a kid basically back then.
Yeah,
So it was like a huge deal, and you would consider that done. But then, yeah, as you said, the Manchester United became alert after the interest of other clubs and then signed him. But I think they were going to sign him. They were like sure about the player. And
yes,
you said when they played the match, it was like at halftime or full time, the defenders were like, yeah, that kid is good
yeah.
and we should sign him.
I
And
think it was
so
Ferdinand
yeah, so that was it.
was
Yes, yes, yes.
so yeah, so quite interesting stories. And moving on to, there's a lot of debate, and people often tend to say that Messi has this god gift, natural gift, and Ronaldo has worked hard for it. But I think it's somewhat of a statement of a diplomatic statement to just not actually take a side or something, or to just justify that
Yeah,
they both are equal or something. But I think that's not the case. Both of them, Messi was obviously gifted with, we all know that about his whatever skills he has. Ronaldo was similar
yes,
because impressing Sir Alex Ferguson before he even has seen you is not just hard work. It's a gift.
yeah,
You have a gift. And
yeah,
talking about hard work, people say that Cristiano has worked more hard in his career because he played in the Premier League as well. But that just sort of, obviously that's true on one hand, but on second hand, it undermines that Messi hasn't worked hard. It says that, yeah, he had Iniesta, he has Xavi, he had a God gift, and that's why he's successful. But the thing is, a lot of the players have God gifts and are natural talents. I mean, have you even heard about Hatim Ben Arfa? I mean, what a player he was.
yeah. I was just about to say his name.
Yeah, so but where is he now? And so Messi is and has worked equally hard as Ronaldo. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So as you said, people tend to be diplomatic here, but I mean, yes, I kind of agree with your point because see, saying that Messi is entirely he has those gifts from God and he doesn't work hard, it's just foolish because Ronaldo has. We all know how hard he works. We've heard stories of how
yeah,
early he goes into training, and how motivated he is to, uh, do give his best and everything. But you can't be this good with just hard work. I
yeah,
mean, he obviously had some sort of talent. You just can't, just to, undermine Messi or be
yeah,
diplomatic, you
yeah,
just can't ignore the fact that yes, both of them were talented. Maybe Messi was more, but that does
yeah,
not
yeah,
mean that
yes,
Ronaldo wasn't. And as you said, yes, even Messi has worked hard, Ronaldo has worked hard, but yes, the circumstances matter. Maybe Ronaldo had to work more harder and stuff
yeah,
like that. But yeah, both of them have worked hard, and that is why they're where they are right now. And as we said, the mentality of players play a big part, because you mentioned Hatem Ben Arfa, and the only reason he did not make it big in his career was because of his attitude. I mean, he was, but let's just not go there. But yeah, it was a mentality, the attitude of the players, and the humbleness also plays a big part. And we all have heard, we I don't think we have ever heard any manager talk about the Messi or Ronaldo's uncooperative behavior,
yeah,
or something like, if they haven't agreed with the manager, or they have tried to make themselves big in front of their teammates or stuff like that, because they are on a different level than others, but they do not try to show it in training or even against them. Because see, if now take for example, at Messi at Barcelona, when Valverde or Satan was the manager, of course Messi is going to is like, he has played for Barcelona for so many years, but these are two rather inexperienced managers who did not know the Barcelona's way of playing. But I don't think we ever heard Messi, despite how big he is, trying to go against the manager or trying to tell
yeah,
him what to do. Or similar with Ronaldo at Juventus. I mean, Maurizio Sarri, we all know how boring the football
yeah,
was, but I don't
yeah,
think Ronaldo ever complained
yeah,
publicly, or I mean, I think in the dressing room there might have been some disputes, but I don't think these players go against the manager like some players these days do, to just because they get let the air get into the head or something like that.
yeah, yeah. And I'm just recently watching the Sunderland documentary on Netflix, Sunderland Till I
Oh,
Die. And
oh,
there was this scene where obviously Sunderland is relegated. They're playing in the championship, and they had this season friendly game against Celtic, which they lost 5-0. And after that, the situation was quite tense and all. And Darren Gibson was one of the players. If people know him, he was a Everton player in the Premier League, and then
yes,
he
yes,
joined Sunderland. Yeah, and there was a video leaked where he was talking with fans, and he basically said that I want to play for this club, but I don't think other players want to. And
okay,
that sort of thing can happen, and players, and that was a disgraceful remark on his teammates. But I'm just talking about how on this point which you made, that
yeah,
we haven't seen Messi and Ronaldo actually complain about their teammates or complain about anyone else. And when Ronaldo, we'll talk about the recent situation, but Ronaldo, when he joined Real Madrid, it wasn't Ronaldo. Yes, Madrid was one of the obviously the biggest club, but they hadn't won a Champions League. They didn't win a La Liga then, but they had invested a lot. But even in his first few years, Madrid wasn't dominant as maybe some of the recent fans must have watched them. They didn't win
yeah,
the Champions League. Yeah, in the first when Ronaldo was there, I think they even went trophyless for that season. Uh, 2010, I think. But he was never.
11, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and after that Mourinho arrived. I think Pellegrini was the manager then. Then Mourinho came
Yeah,
in, and he delivered the title. But before that, Ronaldo, I didn't see him ever complain about the attitude of players, or I came here to win, but I'm experiencing something else. And we've recently watched that with Gareth Bale, about even though
yeah,
he's winning, we've still seen fallouts. We've seen him. We have seen it with Pogba. We've seen it with Ozil. All these
yeah,
players naturally gifted. one of the best, and they've had fallouts, but we have never seen Messi and Ronaldo do that. Yeah, and so let's just talk about in brief the recent problems, and we've already covered Barcelona a lot, so let's not talk about that too much. But yeah, I mean, we've seen Barcelona getting into trouble because of their president, and
Yeah,
not one of the best teams now, and it's looking like even Messi can't guide them to whatever they want.
yeah,
Maybe even this season, I think La Liga may not be possible for them. Champions League is far ahead, and yeah, so even for Juventus last season, it was something of a dreadful season. Even though they won the Serie A with 1 point, but it was they
hmm,
lost the domestic cup. So yeah, just tell us about some recent situation and how they both are coping up with it.
yeah. So we have obviously discussed the Barcelona issue, and again that is not an issue where Messi is going against the manager. I mean, of course, he criticized the manager because. But it was an dig at the board because they are the ones hiring the managers and they should do the job better. And we all know how he's been kept as a prisoner. And let's be honest, everyone is sad at whatever happened in the summer. I mean, he was so eager to leave, even his family and all of it was involved. But
Yeah,
the La Liga and the president, just because of money, and I mean, it was just sad. But yes, the similar situation, not a similar situation, but with Ronaldo as well, the team around him is not delivering as much as it did when he was at Madrid or when Messi was playing, when Ronaldo was in the La Liga. Those sort of teams, they were competitive, but right now the teams have entirely changed because I mean, Ronaldo of course moved to a different league and uh, all, but Messi's original team at Barcelona is not the same now. Their recruitment policy, we all know how bad it has been. So both are playing with a set of players that they have. I don't think they've I think it was just Ronaldo who played at United when he wasn't playing with 10 legends around him. I think that was the last time because Messi has been
hmm,
playing with superstars at Barcelona, but right now that's not the case. And Ronaldo, of course, at Juventus, I think this season might be better for both clubs than last season's because there are new managers and new philosophy, some fresh
yeah,
energy. So yeah, I think this season might be better, but yes, of course, the
yeah,
issue is still there, and despite that, okay, despite all of those issues, they have not stopped performing. Messi was the best performer for Barcelona last year. Ronaldo was the best
yeah,
performer for Juventus last year. So yes, again, the talk of consistency and being the best at the club, no matter what the situation is. We often, as I said, we often, just take them for granted. But I
yeah,
think now we should watch each and every single one of the games with the realization that this is soon going to come to an end and just, stop the comparisons for once between who is better because it's an endless comparison. People still compare between Maradona and Pele. Who was better? So I don't think this is
yeah,
going to stop even after they retire. So there is a lot of time for people to debate, to compare, to do whatever they want. But I think right now it is the time to just enjoy these players play because some we have watched them play for a lot of years, but there are people who've started watching football recently who might not have had the chance to watch them a lot of times. So I think even they should not get involved into this and just enjoy greatness.
yeah, yeah. Yes, and I would just like to say that why these two have become the best footballers, or why these two are constantly compared. And I think a move to Real Madrid had a lot to do with it, because Barcelona and Madrid are arguably one of the biggest rivalries in sports history,
Yeah,
and
the two
they
biggest
needed,
clubs.
yeah, two biggest clubs. Barcelona already had a superstar, and Madrid needed one. And United, yeah, it's one of the biggest clubs, obviously United. But
Yeah.
I think just to spark that a little bit, just to give the give the world something more to talk about, that he had to move there. I mean, I can't seem to recollect anything which I remember that Ronaldo said that why he moved to Real Madrid, but maybe, and he's always been like that, and we'll talk about their personalities, that he's always been about being the best, and probably he thought that Madrid was the way to go, and arguably it was because he won more Champions League, he won more titles, but
Yeah, I mean,
I think moving.
when he moved to Real Madrid, he had said, I mean, you said what you don't recollect what he said. It was like he had always been of the opinion that Madrid is his dream club, and even
Yeah,
after joining United, yes, United were a big club. He won the Champions League and all, but Madrid was ultimately his destination where he was inevitably gonna end up and play for them. So that was always sort of like a dream. So yeah, it was always going to happen at some point.
yeah, and basically, when he joined, that was the beginning. Now who's going to be the best, because they were in the same league, they were going to face one another,
Yeah,
and obviously they faced one another in the Champions League final some a few years back, and
yeah,
Messi was sort of the winner then, because the goals he scored, and he actually scored a header, and that was quite Cristiano Ronaldo style. And I don't
yeah,
think he has scored more now headers anymore. Like, he doesn't score headers anymore, Messi. But
yeah,
yeah, I think Madrid era was something different for both of them, because that's what made them do more. I mean, I saw Messi 33 goals, Ronaldo 31 goals, and the next striker was about 15, 16 goals, and that tells you the difference between them, I think. And Madrid also needed Ronaldo because they had to keep up with Barcelona, because all
yeah,
they had tried it. They had bought all these superstars. I mean, you talked about Zidane and Ronaldo, and they all played for one club, but
yeah,
Barcelona had actually won three Champions League already, and Madrid was nowhere near it, and Mourinho failed too. So, what to do with that? And obviously, Ronaldo helped them get an Ancelotti when he delivered the Champions League. I think that was the peak. Ronaldo had won about four Ballon d'Ors. Messi had won about five Ballon d'Ors. So I think that was the peak of their rivalry, where they were
yeah,
just
yeah.
pushing.
Just this one point, the Ballon
Yeah,
d'Or point. There was a point where Ronaldo had just one Ballon d'Or and Messi had four, and
yeah, yeah.
it was a three. I mean, we in football in a game, a 4-1 lead is something you can come back in this space of 45 minutes or in an half. But to come back from 4-1 down and then win to draw with him at 4-4, it just highlights the mentality of both the players. And that's what we talked about earlier when we said that they push each other to become the best. And if it wasn't for Ronaldo, maybe Messi would have been a different sort of player, and then vice versa. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, just talk to me about his United era.
Okay, yeah, Ronaldo at Manchester. When he first joined as a 18-year-old, I mean, I think he had what two to three. I think it was a number in single digits in his very first season, and then even after the season, even the season after that, he wasn't that a good, great of a goal scorer. Or but of course he was just developing, and the sort of patience we don't have right now for younger players. Thankfully, we had it back then. We let him
Mm,
develop the despite all the criticism from the some set of fans. We just Sir Alex Ferguson was like he always says how he's the footballing father for him, and he showed a lot of trust in him because he the moment he arrived at the club, he asked for a number 28 jersey. This guy gave him a number 7 jersey, which was worn by so many. legends of the game. So
yeah,
there was pressure on him from day one to perform for the club. And yes, it took some time, but the 2008 season where we won the Champions League, he scored about 40. I think it was a number in 40s. He scored that many goals. We won the Premier League as well. We had done the three-peat and the Ballon d'Or, and I think that was the peak of Ronaldo at United, because after that, after winning the Champions League, it was like, and the Ballon d'Or, it was like, yeah, I've done it at United. I came to the club. I gave the club its Champions League after 9 years, and I won the Ballon d'Or. But yeah, I think the move to Madrid is now will come sooner than I earlier anticipated, and that's what happened. I think he moved to Madrid. I think 2 seasons later, after the Champions League final loss to Barcelona, and I think, yeah, I mean, there's this debate among United fans of whether or not Cristiano Ronaldo is a club legend. I still haven't decided yet, but I mean, he is among the greatest players to ever play for the club, yes. But if you're talking about
yeah,
club legends, I think Wayne Rooney has done, of course, more than Ronaldo, and I think Rooney for me is more of a legend than Ronaldo is. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I can understand that. And people, yeah, people do underestimate Wayne Rooney.
yeah,
And similar thing with Messi when he was young and when he joined Barcelona. Imagine the players he had to train with. It was I'll start with Deco, Ronaldinho, Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, and all of these were already heavy built. And look at Ronaldinho. I mean, you are talking about naturally gifted players.
yes,
He was one of the most naturally gifted players, and to actually see him and train with him, and obviously he knew who Ronaldinho was, because I think he must have been very young when he must have watched Ronaldinho play in World Cups, watched Ronaldinho play for Barcelona, and actually train with them. And I think the way Ronaldo had Sir Alex Ferguson and obviously Ferdinand Vidic, and all these heavy built players were already well known
yeah,
throughout the world. It was a similar thing with Messi, and he had to cope up with that. And I don't know. I mean, I heard it somewhere, and I think I think last year or something, we argued that whether this story is true or not. And what I heard is because Ronaldinho and Deco had this party culture in them, and Barcelona sort of wanted to save Messi because they didn't want another something like yeah, gifted player, but not
yeah,
quite that much into training. So they actually sold these two big superstars. Deco went to Chelsea, Ronaldinho I think went to AC Milan.
yeah. I mean,
And
I've heard about this, but then again, yes, I think we don't know how much of a true story it is. It might just be another
yeah,
rumor.
yeah, maybe, uh, but this is true that when Messi arrived, these two were sold. Whatever reason is,
Yeah,
you sold Ronaldinho and Deco because you had trust in Messi and the way he had to perform as well. Because now look, you are a kid and you have Iniesta, Xavi behind you, arguably one of the best pairs and one of the most creative midfielders ever to grace the stage. And then you have to kind of perform, you have to score goals, and he did it. And it wasn't something sort of a fluke or something. He had it in him, and he had to work hard for that. And I remember, I think even in first season he had some about just 10 or 13
yeah,
goals. I mean, that's so low for Messi and Ronaldo right now, but in his first season he had about 13 goals. And but after that he just went on. And what a crazy season that was. I think was it
yeah, yeah.
2012 when he scored about
91 goals in
90
that
goals or something,
calendar
or
year. I think it was
in one.
2011 or 2012. Yeah,
Yeah, and imagine that, a calendar year. I mean, not a
yeah,
season, but a calendar year proper, scoring 91 goals. We can't even achieve that with on FIFA, man. I mean,
exactly.
we,
I
we
think, yeah,
don't we can't score
there
those
are
many
some
goals on FIFA.
records that will never be broken, as like Messi has 91 goals in a calendar year, and he has obviously he has the current Ballon d'Or record. He has more than Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo's records in the Champions League and his record of scoring 60 plus goals in I
yeah,
think 4 consecutive years, which is like I don't think that is ever going to be broken as well. So the records that these two have made, and some of the legends of the game, like we don't talk about them much, but Di Stefano, Van Basten, players like those set these records and maybe thought that yeah, these are not going to be broken ever, but then these two
yeah,
just broke it for fun, and now but yeah, I think the records that these two have set, we see that it might not be broken ever, but well, again, who knows? It just might be, but yeah, I think talking about
yeah,
records and stuff, I think I'd just like to talk about these two, that when Ronaldo arrived at Real Madrid's top scorer was Raul, and he had about 300 plus goals, but the games it
yeah,
took him to achieve that was like double the number of goals. So like he had 300 plus goals in 700 plus games, but then Ronaldo, when he broke that record, he had more goals in less games. So I think he had
yeah. He has
yeah,
about
exactly. And
I
then
think he
this
has
same with
450
Messi. When
430
Messi broke
appearances, I think.
Alcantara's record at Barcelona, that record had been set like it was for 87 years. No one had achieved that, but Messi achieved that and has gone way past that. So yeah, I think these sort of records won't be broken by anyone at the whoever plays for the club.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the rivals they had in their careers. I mean, there was a time where no one could rival them, but right now, and even at the beginning of their careers, I think when Ronaldo arrived at Manchester United, that season Arsenal actually won the Invincibles happened in his first season. So there was already Thierry Henry, who was one of the best players in the league, and obviously Manchester United had
Yeah,
a
Nistelrooy
few
came later,
players,
but
the
yeah,
Van Nistelrooy, yes, and uh, yeah. So and even as they grew up, when Ronaldo actually signed for Real Madrid, they still had rivals then. I mean, they hadn't proven themselves that much yet. Obviously, people knew they
yeah,
are one of the best players, but they still had rivals. I mean, Ronaldo before his injury, Ronaldo was the Brazilian one was one of the best. Maybe people do argue that if the injury wasn't
yeah.
there,
But
he could
for
have
me, I
been that
think
guy.
the
I
Brazilian
mean, what
Ronaldo
Messi
is, I
and
think,
Ronaldo are.
arguably the greatest striker of the game, because we will talk about that in some other episode. Yeah,
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 yeah. Yeah, and Neymar, when Neymar
yeah,
came to the stage, he was some sort of a threat to them because he again was a similar kind of prodigy, like technically gifted, obviously dribbling as well, and vision and passing. And we saw that what a season he had with MSN, with Suarez and Messi. He was one of the best, and I think
yeah,
he was even nominated once for Ballon d'Or with these two. They had Ribery, who was nominated. They had obviously Robin was a player who had
yeah.
played for Madrid and killing it in Bayern Munich shirt. Yeah, and even I think Ibrahimovic is a proper guy. I mean, to compare them, because he's
But
38
he's
now
still
and he's
playing at the
still
highest
playing. I mean,
level.
not maybe scoring as many goals, but he's still playing at the highest level. And Ibrahimovic actually has went everywhere apart from maybe Germany and scored everywhere. And that what
Yeah.
and when he played for United, I think he was about 36 or something, probably older than
And
Ronaldo,
that
who
year he
is
was
right
just
now, but he
he
still
I
scored
remember he
28
finished
goals
just
for
one
United
goal
in one
behind
season.
Messi for most goals scored in that entire year.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we have to give a shout out to Ibrahimovic. Man. I mean, people do criticize him. I mean, if you see people saying that the Messi winning La Liga, Champions League. Ronaldo winning Champions League and even international trophies, and this guy hasn't won anything, but he still talks. But he's been unfortunate, whenever he's left the club seems to have won the Champions League. Yeah, it's Barcelona and Inter Milan, but yeah, I mean we have to give a shout out to Ibrahimovic because wherever he's gone, he's scored, and yeah, he was at once, point
Yeah,
of time, one point of time, he was the third best player
yeah.
in the
So
world,
yeah,
and
he's
I
he's one
completely
of the
agree
very
with
few
that.
players
Yeah.
that talks the talk and then walks the walk, because whatever he says, whatever kind of that attitude he has, people criticize him for it,
Mhm.
but he kind of justifies it by doing thing whatever he does on the pitch, because his goal scoring record, of course, has been great, but I think most of his goals came after he turned 30. Like he had scored more goals after he turned 30 than he had when he was in his 20s. So I think, yeah, he sort of can be compared with these two, because getting better with each season. Of course, he's not been on the same level, and he has been unfortunate with the Champions League trophies and everything. But yeah, I think we should he deserves a shout out, and people do not rate him that much. But I think, yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah. And now just tell me about the young rivals which they have now, because even Messi and Ronaldo actually started their career when they were about 21, 22. I mean that was actually the age where you could, yeah, this kid is great, but now people
Yeah,
see a 22-year-old as an established player. They don't see them as a, young kid, and all these coming, the age has just reduced. So just talk and just give me your thoughts on this change which you are having, and talk about Mbappe and Haaland, and even who's there, how
yeah.
Felix is there
Yeah, so
obviously, and
as you
we have
said,
Ansu Fati
these
now
two
coming
have
in. Yeah.
set an unrealistic benchmark for us to judge players. And yes, these two, started hit it off when they were 21, 22. But right now, the with the current situation is like, if you're an 18-year-old and you score two goals in a game, you are a superstar. You are destined to be the next great thing. But in the next game, if you flop, then yeah, you're done. The other youngsters are
Yeah.
all of a sudden better than you. And I think these two have, I think
Yeah.
at some level, these two have influenced that thinking in us, because the level of consistency we have seen from them, we now expect it from all these players. But unfortunately, that is not going to be the case, because these are kids. They of course need time. But yeah, I think coming to the point where you said the young rivals they have, I think the only current player who is like a complete player, I think, as these two were, I think it's Kylian Mbappe. The others you mentioned, Ansu Fati, this is last season was like his breakout season. He is still he still needs much more time and games to prove himself. Same with Mason Greenwood and all the other youngsters we talk about. Joao Felix, yes, the price tag was big that Atletico brought him, and he did not justify it last season. But again, he's quite young. He will need time, and I think he will prove himself eventually. But if you're talking about young players, I think even though Haaland is scoring goals and all of it, I think right now at the moment the only one who can challenge their legacy is Kylian Mbappe. If of course he does not let it get into his head all of the things he's achieved so far, then I think he's the only one that can challenge the legacy.
Yeah, yeah, and just we're coming to an end, but what actually triggered me to or us to do this
Yeah,
is that we realized that people aren't talking about Messi and Ronaldo in that way anymore, and they were the headlines every match day. But now, because of their clubs, obviously, Messi was in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, and Ronaldo is in a league where unfortunately it's not that much talked about, and Syria as has probably equal competition to what Premier League has, about 7 to 8 teams, probably as equal as possible. But yeah, no one talks about Serie A, and that's why probably Ronaldo and Messi are quite not talked about anymore. And but this is the thing, world moves on obviously, but I think what the legacy which these both have already left, and I hope that nothing ruins that now in the last few years which they've left to play this beautiful game. Uh, yeah, so just tell me about what is their legacy. I mean, can you describe this?
It's not, I mean, see, no one can describe it like yeah, but what we can say is that I don't think we have obviously, I said this earlier, I think, but I think the legacy is something that cannot be matched uh, ever by any player, because we always say that this guy is the new Messi, or whenever we see a young kid, he's a new Messi or he's the new Ronaldo. But the truth is that there will never be a Messi or a Ronaldo, because see, the we talked about how consistent they were, and it is true, because I don't think anyone will ever be as consistent as these players. So I just think that whenever their careers end, we should stop putting these labels or pressure on these players, like to become the next Messi or Ronaldo, and we should just let the original Messi and Ronaldo be who they are, because no one is going to be as
Yeah,
superhuman as those two.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think the day when their careers end, I mean, when they play their last game, I think that it should just be a global event of uh,
yeah,
letting your tears flow, and just you can
yeah,
cry without being without the fear of being judged, because every single person, I think, has heard Messi or Ronaldo at least once in their lives.
yeah,
They must have read it in the newspaper or heard people talking. Okay, maybe not everyone, but yeah, almost, I think 98% of the world
yeah,
has heard their name. And I think that day they should just declare it a holiday, I think, because no one will be able to
yeah.
work. And yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, so what I learned from Ronaldo is that hard work will always pay you. I mean, hard work always pays off.
yeah,
And from Messi, I learned that to be heard, you don't always have to be vocal. When I see Messi, he looks as such a humble person. I mean, obviously we as fans we don't quite know what happens in the regular life. I mean, how they are at home, how they are with other people, but what we see is what we judge. And I
yeah.
think yeah, these two, yeah, that is what I learned from them.
Yeah, I think you just summed it up. I mean, Ronaldo is like the perfect inspiration to work hard, because even at this age, he's not stopping, and he's still working as hard as he did earlier. Because we have seen how I think it was the Juventus medical, where the doctors or the guys who are at the medical said that he still has the body of a 24-year-old, because of how
Yeah,
he's maintained himself. So I think when you sacrifice, you have to sacrifice a lot to achieve things. And the mentality thing, yes, you always have to believe in yourself, and you have to say that even if this guy is better than me, I will one day catch
yeah,
up to him. And that is how you're going to end up being the best. Because see, we talk about how everyone is different and you should do things at your own pace, but that is not how the people who are on top in each of their respective fields think. They always have that hunger to
yeah,
become the best. And if you believe in this thing that everyone is different, do at your own pace, you have no competition, then you will just end up like everyone else. But if you have this sort of thinking that I have to become the best, and you tell that to yourself every day, I think, yeah, then you will one day end up being the best. And with Messi, of course, as you said, to be heard by not being vocal. Yes, he has to be I think another thing is to be humble, and I think just do your best with no sort of expectation for any recognition or something like that, because when I mean, I think Messi is kind of similar to Dhoni, because whenever they win a trophy, they're not like they don't want to be in the spotlight. They're just sort of, let the
Yeah, yeah,
team enjoy it and then be on the side. So I think, yeah, I think that is what we uh, learn from these two. And I just hope, I think we should I'll end this by saying that I just hope they have that dinner finally that they want to
yeah,
have. And
yeah,
I think it should be after their Champions League group game, the last one, where they
yeah,
swap shirts and just
yeah,
head off into the I won't say sunset because it will be night, but yeah, just head off
yeah,
where go into some restaurant and just talk about their entire journey, and just the see you again video comes into mind where Paul Walker and
yeah,
Vin
yeah,
Diesel just the last moment. I think it should be like that, and I think someone should record it and post it online so all of us can see how these two are
yeah.
when they are together.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So just let's end it. But I just wanted to. I mean, this was on the spot, but do you want to talk about the maybe top three best moments of Messi and Ronaldo? Not like what you have witnessed, not for them, but for what you have witnessed. So like we can just have that. And if you want to think, I can just go. The first thing I think one of the best moments which I saw was. Messi scoring the header in the Champions League final,
Yeah,
and that was something. What a header it was, and he had already proven himself, yes, but that was something, to the world saw something in him, and the world
yeah,
now
yeah,
saw him as one of the best players, like, yeah, he is now. And even these small things, that what he did to Boateng in that, I think, Champions League semi-final
yeah.
in 2000.
I was just coming to that. I think
Yeah,
I'll talk about it because that is what
yeah,
I think that is because we've all seen his superhuman free kicks, what he does on a consistent basis.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think we're just out of words now because he's just made it so normal. For whenever you see a free kick in that position for Messi, you you are expecting the ball to end up in the back of the net rather than hitting the ball or something
yeah.
like that. But I think I have seen a lot of incredible moments, but the one that stands out for me is, of course, that Boateng Champions League goal, because I think it was the semi-final. I think it was the semi-final,
It
right?
was a
Before the,
semi-final, yeah,
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 semi-final
semi-final, yeah.
between, Bayern and Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, and Manuel Neuer was sort of like the best goalkeeper in the world at that time, and they had just beaten Argentina in the World Cup final, Germany. And Neuer before the game had said someone had asked him something, and he said that he'll show Messi who's the boss. And Messi
Yeah.
in the second half, what he did to Boateng was, I think it should not have been shown on television, that too live, because yeah, what
Yeah,
he did that,
yeah.
and then he had the audacity to chip Neuer,
Chip
and
Emmanuel Neuer, yeah.
yeah, and whatever Neuer had said, Messi, as you said, he he's been vocal while being silent, and that is what he did. He did not say anything. He just went on the pitch. He did that, silenced Neuer, and I don't think after that moment Neuer will ever have the confidence or audacity to say anything about Messi, because those sort of moments are what people remember because of your cockiness, of course, before the game.
Yeah.
And Messi just it was magical, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, there are so many. Obviously, the bicycle kick against Juventus was something, because Juventus fans actually applauded that performance from him. I mean, how often your rival fans actually applaud you?
Exactly.
And that was the one. And for me, the second one was when he was unfortunately injured in the Euro League,
Final.
sorry, European Championship, yeah, Euro
Yeah,
final.
yeah,
And he was he was actually managing the team at,
yeah.
alongside the manager. And when you see the manager, also the coach, didn't say anything to him. I mean, obviously people criticize him for that. They say that, let the manager do his job. But if he was bothered, he must have said something to Ronaldo, that please go sit down. But he didn't say that,
Yes.
because probably he didn't care about that, and probably he thought that, Ronaldo shouting at players motivated them more. And Ede, who scored the winning goal, actually did say that what Ronaldo told him actually helped him on
Yes.
the pitch. And that was one of the moments which, where I was. I mean, I just imagined what he would be doing when he is 45 or something, you know,
Yeah.
managing teams. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, about that, I think about that Euro final, there are two to three things. Of course, the fact that the Portugal had lost the 2004 final to
yeah,
Greece was a sort of a thing that, of course, it was on Ronaldo's mind because it was his first final for the team and they lost to the
yeah,
underdogs. So I think he sort of wanted a revenge, and then when he could not play in the final during it. Of course, the emotions were kind of on the rise for him, and of course, he went on the touchline and all of that. And during, I think it was the halftime or full time team talk in the locker room. I think the video kind of went viral where he was everyone in the dressing room was listening to him and he was giving this speech to them. But another moment after the game, which is like it always melts my heart. It was when it
yeah.
was
I know
the
what you're talking about.
yeah, you know it.
Yeah,
The I think they were going to collect the trophy, and Sir Alex Ferguson
yeah,
was like this
yeah.
dad who is
What a
watching,
scene!
yeah, watching his son win the medal at
Yeah,
school, sports day for the
yeah,
first time.
yeah, yeah,
He's just eagerly waiting for him in the stands, and then he's just waiting for him. He took a lot of time, and then Ronaldo came and they hugged, and it just, yeah, it was a bit of a nostalgia. But I think, yeah, coming
yeah.
back to the best, I think it has to be the Juventus bicycle kick for me because it was just too good to not include it in this list. But another
Yeah.
I think another I think that there are a lot of moments when I just can't pick one between them. But I think should it is uh,
You can just go for something. Yeah, any one moment. Not necessarily the best one, but what you
uh,
remember.
can it be the something that I haven't watched live?
Yeah, sure. Well,
Yeah.
what do you want?
So
Winning
yeah,
final?
it will be the Portsmouth free kick that Ronaldo scored.
Uh,
Yeah, I think it is one of the most aesthetically pleasing free kicks you'll ever see because the way the ball just dips at the right time in the top corner, and I don't know, it was just perfect for me. But I think one thing we should talk about before ending this is I think the only difference between Ronaldo and Messi is the treatment that the people of their country give them because
yeah,
Ronaldo in Portugal is, of course, everyone loves him, is sort of like a god, but I
yeah,
think that is not the case with Messi because of
yeah, yeah,
he hasn't been able to do with the national team, and of course because of Maradona, because Maradona has spoken a lot about Messi's attitude and stuff like that, and people there love Maradona more than. Of course, they know that Messi is one of the greatest players of all time, but when it comes to picking between the two, I think they have this soft spot in their heart for Maradona. So I think the only thing which is the difference. But do you think it is fair for Messi to go through this sort of treatment when you have done so much for the game?
Haters are a part of it. Obviously, the journey. Haters are. a huge part of it. But
People of a whole
obviously, it's going
country
to
make a
hurt. Yeah,
difference.
yeah. So obviously, it's going to hurt when your own people are sort of going against you or something. But you know, it's not fair for him, obviously, to face that. But when you look at what Argentina has done in the last 10 years, when they have arguably one of the best players in the world, and they haven't quite done anything. I mean, yeah, they played the final of the World Cup, and probably that was the only chance they could have won anything.
Yeah,
And, I always remember that it was 1-0, and Messi had that free kick
free kick.
opportunity, and
Yeah,
he missed that. Yeah. So probably, that also triggered that, probably he should have done more.
yeah,
And we have seen people do more for their countries, like even Beckham scoring that free kick for England.
yeah.
And,
Coming
you
up
sort of
clutch
expect,
when it mattered, like Maradona in
yeah,
that
yeah,
World Cup.
yeah. So even though Maradona went on to become something quite horrible,
Yeah,
we, I mean, yeah, the drug addiction and all everything, and Messi is probably the better human being, but yeah, it's unfair, but it's something he has to face. Otherwise, he can silence the Argentinian people if he wins something,
do you think
or
he'll
if
win
he
a trophy
performs.
with Argentina before he retires?
I mean, there's a chance he can win the South American Cup. I think what's it called. I
Copa
kind of
America.
forgot. Yeah, Copa Americano. So there's an opportunity for Argentina to win that because they have little competition, and he should go for that. What Portugal did, because these two countries are going to find it difficult to win a World Cup or something, because there are a lot, the France, Germany, and all other teams are very strong. So probably Argentina's best chance is to win that, and if that is taken seriously, yeah, he can win it because he will play in that in the next few years, but whenever it takes place.
Yeah, I think, and after these careers end, I think if Messi does not win anything with Argentina, that is the point that people will always point out why Ronaldo is
Yeah,
better than Messi
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean we all know how good Messi is, and but these sort of comparisons always tend to focus on the points that made a difference, and I think it will always be like Messi was only good because of Xavi and Iniesta, but Ronaldo proved it everywhere, and that's why people will
yeah,
overlook Messi and move towards Ronaldo. But I think that should not be the case. But I think let's hope it isn't.
yeah. So yeah, so let's end it, and we hope that all of you guys who want to become something in your life, not necessarily a footballer, but just take these two examples. Born in some cities you don't even know. I mean, we know Paris, we know,
Yeah,
the New York and all, and Delhi and Berlin and everything, but we don't know these Madeira
yeah.
and what's the
Rosario, right?
Messi's. Yeah, but they made it, and I think you should too. So this was the end. This was a fun episode from us, and obviously now catch Vedant with all the Premier League highlights and the Premier League updates once the league returns. He's also writing about IPL,
Yeah,
and tell us where people can follow.
yeah. It's the sportingbus.com. It's the name of the website. Yeah.
Yeah, so follow him, follow us as well, subscribe to our channel. Yeah, so that's a goodbye. We'll return when the Premier League comes in next week and talk about it. So, exciting season ahead. Let's hope these two make it one step higher and become legends for the next 100 years. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah, and that's a goodbye.